Hmm. Let's tag a few people. Just tag a few people. So yes, guys, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fellow petrol heads and motor enthusiasts. How we're doing? Of course, this is Hopper's Motorsport Vlogs. I am, of course, delighted to be back in Vlog HQ. But obviously tonight is, of course, Friday. As I said, February was going to be a manic February. But we are joined by a special guest this evening around 8:30. If you don't know who I am Hoppers. I am the voice and, of course, the face of Hopper's Motorsport Vlogs. Back in Vlog HQ for some, it's for something, can't even get my words out, for no reason. But yes, if you are here for the Kayls Cole interview, welcome in, guys. I am, of course, live this evening. Because, as I say, we've got the fabulous Kayls Cole joining us to talk about her racing and how she got involved in motorsport. And, of course, I think it's going to be a great chat. We've got, of course, two other guests joining us next week. I'll go on about them towards the end of wrapping up this video, if I remember. But while everyone is going to be joining us, I'd just like to welcome everyone in. And hopefully tonight is a great one. The page has already gone wild. But welcome in to everyone. I am, of course, live and, of course, exclusive. So if people are waiting to join, but if you are new around here, welcome in, guys. Thank you for the likes and follows, and thank you for everyone that shared our post for this evening, as well as for this evening's guest. I'm looking forward to hearing a lot about our special guest this evening. But please do, if you can, like the live video if you can, or react to the live video. Please don't put angry or sad faces, because I'll worry that something's gone wrong. But yes, as I say, we'll be joined by Kayls very shortly. But as I say, I am live this evening. I am live Monday and, of course, Tuesday next week for two other special guests that are joining us, as well as at the end of the month. Obviously, I am a petrol head and, of course, a Bridgestone car fanatic, as you can tell. You probably could ask me which team I support out of BMW and the Napa squad. Well, unfortunately, I'm a Napa fan, as well as my pal, Mr. Dan Rowbottom. But I'm not on about him tonight. But and I've got the caricature. I'm trying to think where it is. The caricature is that side of myself and my wonderful other half, Jen, who is the main reason why Hopper's Motorsport Vlogs exists. So just going to wait for everyone to join. If you are new around here, or you're new to the vlogs, the vlog community, welcome in. I'm going to put checker flag and smiley face. If you see that a few times throughout the evening, don't worry, it's because we're trying to catch up with everyone's comments and such forth. I am looking forward to this interview because I think it's going to be great. Good evening, Tracy. How are you doing? But yeah, I think it's going to be great. I'm just obviously going to wait for Kayls to join. But if you got any questions, guys, do stick them in the comments by all means. We'll try and get through them as best as we can. But as it's happened previously with all interviews I've done, chat seems to go wild. So I have no control of keeping up with questions. If you have asked a question and it hasn't got asked, or you want us to read it out, do repeat it, because I don't mind it being spammed so many times. Good evening, Daryl. How are you doing, mate? But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's the first guest of the month, and it's the first guest of the year. So, as I say, I'm looking forward to being back in the zone. It's been a while since we've been in Vlog HQ. You may think the colour's a bit different. It may not look a bit different because obviously with the bulb, but I will show you the proper colour later on. It is a grey colour, so I'm looking forward to this. As I say, I am, of course, live and exclusive. But if you are new around here, welcome in, guys. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great chat. I'm interested to hear about Kayls' racing. Don't know much about her racing, but I know a bit about it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, by all means, say hello to everyone in the comments. Be nice to everyone. All I ask is if you haven't followed the page or you haven't liked the page, please do, because we are reaching some big numbers on there. But as I say, there is a lot of things to go through this evening. I'm going to be live, hopefully for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, chatting to Kayls. I'm not going to jump in straight away and say to everyone, we'll stay for so many hours. But I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming since we've had a guest. I think the last guest we had on the page was probably somewhere. I'm trying to think where the last guest was, but I'm going to get Kayls to request to join. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. We are going to try and invite Kayls in because it is, of course, 8:30. So, hopefully it should be a great one. How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. But introduce yourself to the world. I've introduced me.
Hi everyone, my name is Kayls Cole. I'm a 21-year-old racing driver from Cork in Ireland, so a bit away from everyone else probably watching. But yeah, I race in the F1000 Championship in the UK, so I'm mainly based over there with my racing career. But yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you. It's been a while. Like I say, it's been a while since I've had a guest. I've been trying to work out when was the last time. So you're the first one of the year, and you're first in the Manic February, as I'm going to call it.
That's good.
I've got 3 other guests after this.
Well, you started with an Irish person, which is probably going to be a good one.
That's fine. Unfortunately, I haven't got my Guinness to hand tonight.
That's not good enough now.
No, it's not. No. I should have stopped off on the way to the shop on the way home, but no, it hasn't. But no, I don't know where we can start because I want to know how you got into motorsport and obviously how you feel being in motorsport.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously I don't want to sound difficult, but it's obviously difficult with being with the males as well as females.
Yeah.
I think females have the same right as everyone else, as you know.
Yeah.
But I want to know how that feels, though.
Yeah. I suppose I can start with how I got into it. I was always kind of around the motorsport industry as a kid. I was always kind of on my dad's shoulders watching the rallying more than the track racing, which is a real shock to everyone when I started going circuit racing in the end. But yeah, I was always kind of in the rallying kind of side of motorsport. I always loved watching the stages and going from stage to stage, watching the rally cars, different, the Mark IIs and everything going past. But I always done dancing. I done ultraflex. I done hurling, football. I don't know everything like that, but nothing. I done dancing for years, but nothing like that really. I didn't really have a passion for it as such. It wasn't really something that I get up at 7 a.m. I wouldn't rush to get up and do it, but I didn't really have a big passion for it. And then 2015, 2016, I started nagging my dad for a go-kart. And started saying, like, I'd like to try it. We first started looking at autographs buggies. I wanted to go down the kind of the muddy route. I wanted to go do like the junior special class because I knew a few people in that kind of section of motorsport as well. And you'd look at it like buying a buggy, like a junior special buggy, and they're like stupid money, and you do like 3 or 4 laps, which is like crazy, especially when you're starting fresh in motorsport. So then I kind of looked at the karting side of things, and then 2016 for Christmas I got my first ever go-kart. Yeah, it started out in junior Rotax. It was just it was a secondhand kart just to get me started, because I never really wanted to go to where I am now. I always wanted to just do it for a bit of fun and go up on a Sunday to the kart track and go out for a bit of practice and mess around. So we got a go-kart to start off. And then I think it was February I first went out in it, and I remember my first ever time out in it was we were on slicks in the wet. We just because we didn't have a clue, like we started really, really raw, like we know about the rally cars and stuff, but with the karting we didn't have a clue that there was 2 sets of tires, and my dad had to learn how to, and I had to learn how to from the very start. So yeah, we just went out and had a bit of fun, and then I done my first race in the May of the 2017 year. Just said, look, it was in my local kart track. I'd done a few practice days, and we were like, sure, we'll just have a go with it. I went out, and yeah, I think I got lapped. I was like horrific. I I wasn't bad, but I wasn't like, you know, all these guys had been at it since they were 5-6 years old, and I think I was like 14 at the time, and I was just straight fresh from, you know, doing a few practice days, so it was really kind of I wasn't kind of used to anything like that. So I went out anyway, done the race, it was fine. And then that was 2017. I'd just done a few races here and there, nothing really too competitive. And then I went into my second year in 2018 and done the junior category as well. That year we kind of went a bit more competitive. We got a new engine, started getting drawn into it, you know, once you start
getting the bug.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of got drawn into it a bit, bought a new engine, wanted to go competitive. That year I ended up winning junior driver of the year in Ireland. So then from that day on, it wasn't really like this is a career. It was more so 2019 when I moved up to seniors. I was only 16 at the time, and I had another year. I could have had another year in juniors, but I was like, you know, I've had my 2 years in juniors. I've learned, you know, what I need to learn in a kart. So I wanted a bit of more of a challenge. So I was racing against guys that were like twice my age. So we went into senior karting in 2019. And I think that was probably where my career started, where I kind of knew this is what I want to do. This is, you know, this is what I want to commit to. This is like, I was so passionate about it from that day on. I was passionate for it since a young age, but from that day on, I knew that I could, you know, achieve something from that. So I ended up winning 2 championships that year and coming third in the All Ireland. And then we won Pride of Ireland from Downforce Radios over in the UK. So I started getting a bit of notice. And then we started going to the UK, going across water, which is obviously a bit tougher. So it was a bit of a shock. Because it's like over in Ireland here, the rallying is huge.
Of course,
it's so big, but the track racing wouldn't be as big as the UK. Like, you don't have the likes of Silverstone or, you know, the Formula One is placed there and stuff like that. So it would obviously be a lot bigger. So when I went to Ship Shales to, you know, the car industry 2020, we started testing a few cars. We tested Ginetta Junior over here in Ireland, which there was like 3 or 4 on the grid, which we were kind of like, yeah, probably could, you know, do a year of that just to kind of get a bit of experience in cars. But again, you're still spending a lot of money to race against 4 people, and it probably would look really, really good because you'd obviously be on the podium or edging towards that. I didn't see any like challenge to that. It wasn't really something I was kind of like, well, you're spending a lot of money in my first year cars. It's not something that interests me. It was a really good class to start with, but unless, you know, the UK Ginetta Juniors, it's a huge class, but that was obviously triple the price.
Of course,
So we tested a few cars, but I actually tested the F1000 single seater before the Ginetta Junior, which is probably the complete wrong thing to do.
It probably is, but to some people it might not be. Like,
I know, like, because we went from like going like 120 miles per hour down Bruntingthorpe, you know, airfield to like 30, 40, 50 miles per hour down the back straight Mondello. So it's kind of like, I don't want to be in this. Like, I knew straight away from like 10.
Something with more oomph, don't you? And more power is what you're trying to tell us.
The bit one with a bit of a mad notion in my head was to go with the faster car, but not so much faster car. I think it was more single seater side of things, because that year in 2020 we kind of got held up a bit because the COVID hit, and we had, you know, the budget wasn't there, and, you know, of course companies weren't in that position to sponsor people, so it was kind of a hard year for everyone really. Luckily enough, you know, I had my dad and myself, and I had a few local people that helped us go across the UK and do a few of the British Championship rounds in karting still. Obviously it wasn't what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to kind of move up a bit to cars, but again, it was a hard year for everyone, I think. So yeah, no, 2021 was the year I made the move up. We obviously tested the two cars. We had a few interests in different championships, but I had my heart set on the F1000 because it was just fast, reliable, and it's probably the cheapest single-seater series in the UK, and if they're not the world, because it's a fast car. It's faster than an F4. How you can't go wrong with that, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the team and the manufacturers, Jedi, Fraser Corbin, John. I just fell in love with the whole series. So I had my first year in that. Really, we had a good year. Obviously, I was raw to it. So jumping in from a cart that does 50, 60 miles per hour to a car down Hamilton Straight going nearly 150 was a bit of I opened my eyes a bit. So yeah, no, we had a good enough rookie year. We won the rookie championship, which was good to have secured. And then we went on to 2022. We had a bit of trouble with engines and stuff like that. And then last year we won the Irish Championship, or the year before last year we won the Irish Championship. We came back over to Ireland to Ireland. And we won that championship. So it was good to come back home and try and lay out the cards to see how I do from being in the UK the whole time. Ended up doing really well. We were against F3's World Series cars, and it was really good. So yeah, that's how I got into racing. I'm where I'm at now. It's a different story. But I think I rambled on a lot there.
No, it's all good, because obviously Diff fans asked you a question. Would you see yourself on the Toka package if you had the choice and you had the money and the backing? Because we know how difficult it is.
Yeah, 100%. I'm open to kind of anything at this stage. Obviously I have my head set on what I want to do, where I want to go, but again, as you said, it's down to money and budget and what you can bring in for every year you have. But when I was going into single series in 2020, obviously we had the W series, which kind of edged me towards a single series. I always was a fan of the single seater series, but I knew how expensive it was. But opportunities like the W series or F1 Academy, that opened a door or a pathway for me to go forward, and that's what I wanted to do. But I always loved the Porsche GTs. GT was always something I loved, but I knew if I went into the single series I could make a name and then hopefully cross paths. Obviously the W series disappeared. I think it was 2021. I could be wrong.
I believe so. Yeah.
So that obviously was landed on our plate, and we were kind of shoot, that was something we were aiming for, to try and get my name out there and to try and move up in the motorsport world, because obviously being at that level alongside Formula One is a lot easier to, not easier, nothing's easy, just we're getting funding and sponsors, but being on that platform, I think having that name, it's a bit, you can open your eyes to companies a bit more, to then eventually move on to something else. But the Toga package is obviously something I'd love to do. I wouldn't say no. But yeah, no, the single series, obviously I kind of had my heart set on it. But going forward, it's really hard to know where you stand, because the only pathway to going from where I am now is to F3. F4 but I have to go to F4, then F3. Then you're getting into the millions of F2 and F1, and with the girls that are in F1 Academy, obviously a lot of them would have the budget to go towards that, but they're not there yet. So a girl struggling to get that budget, will she get there? So the only real path in single series is towards Formula One, and I think that is right now impossible to see at the moment, especially I have to be realistic about it as well. So I obviously would love to go to cross paths towards GT hopefully soon. So
you never know what's out there, do you, really? Because with the budget and stuff like that, obviously BTCC is expensive.
100%. The BTCC is a lot of money, and you're seeing a lot of new faces going into it that are in Fiestas or the mini JCWs and stuff like that. I think now, I don't think you know, obviously they kind of look for kids that are in the JCWs and stuff. So I think I've kind of sailed past that a bit.
Yeah.
Obviously I wouldn't turn it down because we've seen Jess Hawkins go into it. Like, she was unbelievable in one of them cars. So, you know, you never know. Hopefully one day we'll get a go and all.
Well, like I say, you know, dreams are dream, and if you can achieve it, you can achieve it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really fell in love with about 2 years ago. Esme Hawksky, she posted a thing on Twitter, and she was looking for 7 females across the world to come and join her in Brands Hatch to test the Porsche series.
Yeah.
I applied for it. Just, you know, a few people sent it to me, and I was like, look, I'll apply for it. I wasn't really expecting to get picked because, you know, there's a lot of girls in the UK, America, like Canada, like there's a lot of females getting involved in the sport now, and I thought it was more so for people that were kind of freshly starting and didn't know what path to go. So I applied for it anyway, and I ended up getting selected. So Porsche, we all flew out. I think there was myself, there was three or four girls from the UK, mostly UK girls. There was one from Switzerland, and one from Canada, I think, something like that. And we all got together and went and tested the Porsches. And then he invited a few of us back to go test in Silverstone about 2 months later. And that's kind of opened my eyes that, like, that's something I'd love to aim for. I tried to do it about 2 years ago. But with budget and stuff, it was a lot tougher than it was supposed to be. And getting let down with sponsors and stuff like that. So it's a lot harder. So it's something that I want to aim towards because I think it's a really good series, and it you know, you can, with GT you can go down a lot of paths, like endurance. You know, you've over in America there's a lot of series over there for different avenues. Whereas with what I'm doing now, it's only one road, and that's one. So I think with going across the GT, there's a lot more of opportunities in
right. Yeah. Because it's going to be, just bear with, it's going to be amazing why the likes of Lydia Walmsley going into the Sprint Challenge this season.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, like, you know, for all females to be on the same grid as the males, I think that's the right thing. You know, I don't say, oh, all females should be on a female grid. It's totally wrong.
No, 100%.
You know,
like, because
you can mix it all with the big boys and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Because when I first seen the W series, I didn't really agree with it. Being honest, I thought, you know, I was kind of like, I don't know if you've seen the interviews with Abby, and like she didn't agree with it either. A lot of girls didn't.
Yeah.
I could see what they were trying to do, trying to get the girls' names out there and trying to get them towards the F1 grid. And obviously, if I was given that opportunity, I wouldn't turn it down because it's, you know, it's a season. So, but again, I don't think there should be an all-female grid to try and make your name. I think it should be, you like, because I was born, you know, from when I started racing in go-karts, I was always racing against males. That's what I've been brought into, and I think we have to realize it is a male-dominated sport, and, you know, there's nothing we can do about that. It has been like that.
Is it difficult though, racing against the males? Is it? I don't want to be like sound stereotypical, but is it?
No, don't get me wrong. Like, when I first started, I kind of thought, you know, with all the, you know, people, they were like, oh, it's because you're a woman, you know, you're gonna get off, blah blah blah. And like, I kind of looked at that for a while, and I was getting hit off. And I think with any racing driver, whether it be female or male, you have to gain your respect. And on track, off track, you just have to gain respect. So I think with any racing driver, there's always going to be the controversy there on and off track with who's faster, who's not. So like, after a few months of me racing, I was kind of like, well, they're not hitting me off because I'm a girl, they're hitting off me because I'm fast. So I kind of looked at it like that. Now, the F1000 Championship I race in, the lads are A1. They are the nicest bunch of lads I could race against. They're so respectful. They don't treat me any different. I'm like the boy as well.
Well, that's how it should be, though, isn't it? Not getting treated any different because of your gender. I've always said that.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of your gender, you should have the same rights as everyone else.
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. Yeah, no, they just treat me the same. We go out and race. If I pass them, it's like, oh, she passed me. Like, you know, it's it's just a normal, you know, I think females in motorsport is coming so common now. Like there's a lot of girls coming into it. I think we just kind of have to, again, gain respect, but a lot of males have to do that as well.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it has been hard as a female to come through. You know, obviously it's unusual, but now that we're getting a lot of publicity coming through, like the F1 Academy and stuff, it has helped a lot. So I think, I've never seen a problem racing against males. To be honest, I prefer to race, you know, on normal grids. But again, to get your name out there, the F1 Academy looks like it's a good series to get involved in. It's sad that we have to go through that to try and make a name. Personally, but I wouldn't say no to the championship, because I think it's a great eye opener for, you know, someone like myself struggling to get funding and stuff like that. But again, we don't have a male series that has that either, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in, isn't there? Really.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, it's like the be all and end all. You know, it's like I've said to everyone, you know, and I've said this previously, and I have respect for females in motorsport, because, you know, it doesn't matter. You should be having the same rights as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like, there's a question that, you know, what advice would you give to young females that want to get into motorsport? You know, because it must be daunting.
Don't get me wrong, like when I first got into it, it was daunting. I was kind of like, you know, okay, yeah, we're going to be racing against boys. Like, what's it, you know, because when I started racing karting, I was the only girl on the grid.
Right.
And there wasn't many females back when I started. Like, it wasn't that long ago, but, you know, back then, even like in 2016, 2017, there wasn't many females to actually look up to. Like, I wouldn't have known of, you know, Sarah Moore. Like, she was my driver coach in my first year of F1000. I wouldn't have known of her unless the W Series didn't come out. So I think, you know, it's getting bigger and bigger, and for anyone getting into it, I think it's a lot, as a female, there's a lot more opportunities, and it's not as daunting as it was back then, because there's a lot more, you know, academies, and like, you know, there's the equal, you know, that are kind of getting young girls into motorsport and helping them achieve their dreams, and sim racing and stuff like that. So nowadays, I don't think it's as daunting for anyone to get into it. I think there's a lot more opportunities for people. So as a young person coming into it, you just have to achieve, you know, chase that dream. You know, you can't stop because it's a male dominated sport. You have to, you know, push yourself through, and, you know, once that helmet goes on, it doesn't really matter who you're racing against, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of things, because obviously, you know, we look up to people like such as yourselves. You know, I don't judge, because, you know, it is what it is. And I kind of say to myself, like, last night, obviously I raced online last night, and there was a female racing in our league last night, and it was like, this is what it should be all about. It's not about just the boys having a bit of fun on the PlayStation or on sim rigs. It's about including everyone, regardless of the capabilities or what they're good at. You know, you're just going to improve bit by bit. You know, and it's just welcoming.
No, exactly. I think it's a normal thing now to see a girl on the grid. I don't think there is, you know, a big deal for a girl to be on the grid now. Don't get me wrong, you're always going to have one or two, like, you know, like that.
You're going to someone who's probably going to go, oh, there's a girl on the grid, what we're going to do? But then,
don't get me wrong, like, even in cars, not in F1000 and such, but like even in cars, you know, there's always going to be one or two. Like, there's no way I'm leaving her past me. So yeah, look, you have them kind of people as well, but I think even as a male, you'll have that as well. You know, it's normal. Obviously, as a girl, when a girl passes the lad, it's not great. But yeah, no, it's kind of grown to me now. It's kind of, you know, I get a lot of them questions over the years, asking me what it's like to be a girl in the motorsport, and I'm just kind of like, just get on with it.
just get on with it, and then, you know. And then when you show them, look, that you're winning titles and stuff like that, then, you know.
Yeah, no, exactly. You just kind of have to do your talking on track, really. Obviously,
but that's tough, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
obviously
talking on track
is a big thing as well. But it's just get in the car and drive.
Just get in the car and show them all up in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know it's I think I see a few people. Oh, I don't know if a few of the potatoes are in here. Do you know? Have you ever seen on my race page with the Potato Nation?
No, I haven't.
It's
No.
like
And
a sim racing. It's a sim racing community. And they built me my sim rig and stuff like that. But I see a few of them commenting in there saying they're from the Discord and stuff.
fair enough.
But
But
do you do sim racing yourself then?
yeah, I do it on the PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I used to do as well. I used to do on like before I went on race weekends, I used to
yeah.
get on my PS4 and my Logitech wheel and just do laps and laps and laps of the track.
Yeah, yeah. I do like now and again quite a lot of online racing, but I used to do it 7 days a week. But that was before me and my partner used to live together. And I
Yeah.
used to get telling off by her saying, "Oh, you're going to spend too much time on that." And it's like, "Yep,
Do you have
it's probably true."
Discord?
Yes, I do.
You
Yes,
should
I do.
join. It's you obviously the Potato Nation. You probably know the potato stands for Irish, like it's an Irish thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you should join the Potato Nation Discord group. They're
I'll have a look.
really really helpful. And they'll put you in the right direction to upgrade if you ever wanted to. And yeah, they're a really good bunch of lads. And they like travel around the world to expos and stuff like that. That's why we were in Germany last month, like 2 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
I
and
need,
Dad, we got
I need to up my game because I've only got a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One.
yeah, yeah.
And
I
all
don't
my
know.
mates have got PS5s, and I'm like, yes, what you doing with a PS5? But
Yeah,
it is
no,
what it is.
I was the same till last. I still have the PS in the living room, but they helped me upgrade to the PC just to kind of improve me as a driver
Yeah.
and help me while I can't be on track. But I was on the PS4 for years, and there's nothing wrong with
No,
it. But if you ever want to
no,
upgrade, definitely catch up with them lads because
yeah,
they're
yeah.
really good.
But,
Yeah.
I don't know if we've got any more questions.
I'll see if anyone has said anything in here. Oh, what advice did you get? I'll leave you read them out.
It's all right. Tracy's asking, what's your favourite track? And is there a track you've not raced on before? What would be your dream?
My favorite track when I raced it last year, I think everyone that's in here that knows me will probably know it's coming as well. I raced at Cadwell Park for the first time last year. I've only kind of been in Ireland and England, so I've not really ventured European yet. But it's Cadwell Park, 100%.
Okay.
Tight, twisty, jumps. So yeah, no, Cadwell Park's definitely one of my favorite tracks. We had a really really good race weekend there last year. So we're back there this year now again, so it should be good. My dream track to race on, it's probably a bit boring, but Spa.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to go to Spa. Or the Nuremberg Ring or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I've not been outside the UK, any track European wise would be a dream to me really. But Spa is one that I'd love to take, even the Jedi round. I think it would be class.
I think it would be a bit wild as well, given its weather changes every left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Spa has kind of been on my bucket list for 2 or 3 years now. I've seen obviously a few crashes there, which has kind of been like, is that really my dream track to go on? But
is that really what you want to do? Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think with my favorite track being Cadwell, I think Spa would be kind of similar to that, with kind of
sort of similar. Yes, yeah. Just a bit more longer and a bit more weirder, yeah. I suppose. It's like me. I've always said to people that know me, and obviously my other half. I keep saying one day I'm going to go to the Nordschleife, and she's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, yes, I am.
And
but yeah,
what would be your dream track to drive on if you were given any opportunity in the world?
If I had an opportunity, there's a couple of things. I'd obviously go to the Life because it's a track that I've always kind of liked when I've raced around it virtually. But I'd obviously take a BMW M3, to be honest.
Yeah, nice, cool. What
But
about
then
seaters? Would you ever go into a single seater?
I'd give it a go if I had the chance.
Yeah. No, it's the Jedis are a good series. You'll have to get yourself into one of them.
If I had the money and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I think it's getting harder and harder in the motorsport industry with budget and stuff like that. For any driver, unless your family background is kind of helping you.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
A lot of people have kind of their ship has sailed and they can't go out and track anymore, and yeah, it's hard going, like trying to get up and going for the season, especially for myself as well. It's so hard.
Yeah. I think Michael Crease is trying to have a bit of banter.
I
in my forehead. Well,
I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, is that what's happening? Oh, well, because my phone's on charge on my laptop, so I can't really position it because I'll try and move it and see what happens.
I seen his comment. I was like, I'm not saying anything now. You see it.
Well, I do apologise, people, if you've only seen my forehead, but
it would only be Michael now to say that as well.
That's it, Creasy. I'm coming for you. I'm gonna get him later. He's been on here a few times and he's been on the vlogs a few times, so
yeah,
I'm used to his banter.
Oh, that's good.
It's probably because my phone's on my laptop and that's what it is.
He's laughing at you.
Yep. Well, I didn't know there was a problem. People should have said earlier. It's fine. And now it's fallen over. Joys are charging it up and leaning it onto my laptop, and that's half the problem. Might have to hold it in my hand now.
Did you go? Will you go to all the British Touring Car rounds this year, or do you go to like one or two? Or
try and go to one or two. It all depends on work, I suppose.
Yeah. What do you do for yourself? What do you work as in?
I'm a warehouse cleaner.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Cool.
It's not the best job, but it's a job at the end of the day.
It gets you around.
Yeah, gets me round, keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually moving over to the UK in September.
Okay.
I'm going to the Silverstone National College of Motorsport.
Nice.
Year or two, just to get a bit of studying in for obviously driving is what I want to do. That's my career. That's what I'd love to keep going with. But you have to have a backup as well,
Yeah, there's a lot of things. It's like with my job, it's like, yeah, I can go and clean, but it's suppose, like I say, it's a job, and it pays for going to British touring cars and stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Michael said that you need to go because he's back.
Yeah. I'll be pestering him now, saying what you trying to do, wind me up as well, saying he can only see my forehead.
Michael has to get you free tickets in now.
Yeah, he does now. Yeah, he has to get us free tickets.
So me too.
No, but he's a very good lad, is Mr. Crease. We've got a lot of respect for him. And now he's deleted his comment because now he's probably thinking, yeah, I've just let on what's going on. we saw that. You can't get rid of that now, mate. But the thing is, he's going to know for a fact, because obviously I support my pal, Mr. Dan Rowbottom. So it's like, well, here we go again.
Yeah. Dan's a good lad. Is that your favourite?
Yeah. He's the main guy, because me and him are a similar age, so we've got on quite well over the last couple of years.
Change subject now, Michael.
But yeah, Dan's all right. He's a good laugh. I've got on with his family every time I've gone and seen him. So
yeah.
And
the lad, I can't remember his name. He was on with us a few months ago on this thing. Oh, I can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a while. One of the touring cars. I was actually at the Knock Hill round in 2023.
Yeah.
With Napa Racing. We went up to watch, and we got into the truck and stuff like that. So that was a good experience. I'd never have been to BTCC race until that year. So yeah,
It's quite surprising. BTCC's class. I've been a fan for 26 years coming up this year.
yeah.
And
No, it's a good
I've never
series.
looked back.
It's a good series. Well, Jesus, the publicity it gets is unbelievable. Like, there's, whenever you think of, track racing over in the UK, it's British touring cars or, Formula 4, Formula 3, or it's always something like that. But I think BTCC takes over everything.
Yeah, it does now and again. It's a very, as I'm going to say, very addictive sport to get involved in, whether you race or you're a fan.
Yeah.
It's like, but my other half, she's not a fan, but she comes and helps.
Not like the motorsport, no?
No, she likes it, but she's not a big fan.
Yeah. Fair enough.
She
all that.
Yeah. I don't know if your dad's referring to Michael or me. I don't know.
I can't see. What did he say? I can't even see the comments. Has he commented on?
I think he commented on Creasy's comment, saying he got a bit levelled by the looks of it.
I wonder, can I get a few more people on? Hold on. I posted on my race page that I was coming on, but I think people are not looking.
It's all right because it's been shared around enough anyway.
No, Lee and Lisa, they've done an awesome job of getting publicised everywhere. Fair play to them.
Yeah, well, exactly. You can't thank people enough for that because that's what we need.
He got it everywhere, literally.
Yeah.
Michael, how's the potato sponsorship coming on? I don't know if I told you that already, Andy. I was in Germany in October. Me and my dad drove, how long was it? 30 odd hours.
Wow.
We
it's a long way.
From Ireland to the bottom of France and then travelled, I think it was 11 hours from bottom of France up to Dortmund.
Wow.
We had the car on show from Thursday to Thursday to Saturday because I had to be back for my college course interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then we travelled all the way back. So I think it was like we left the stadium in Dortmund at the expo at like 11 o'clock and we didn't get down to France until 2 o'clock that next day.
Wow.
So yeah, we travelled all the way over there with my sponsors, Potato Nation, them guys I told you to get in touch with, and we put the car on show. It was like a massive sim expo. It's honestly out of this world. I 100% recommend for you to go. It's unreal. So yeah, they basically sponsored me the rig and they set up a GoFundMe to try and get me some fuel and tires for my season last year. And they sponsor 8 other racing drivers as well from Ireland. So they do a great job helping Irish rise. I don't know if I can see anything else.
So I think we do have a question from Tracy. Who's your favourite driver in any series?
Oh God.
I bet I tough one, isn't it?
In any series,
Yeah.
that's just like I won't go Formula 1 because I think everyone asks that question. I don't know actually. Like I don't really have an ultimate favorite driver. Obviously, I'm a fan of a lot of people, like Robotman and stuff like that. Like all them kind of guys. If I don't say Michael now, I'll be attacked in the comments. But yeah, no, I do have a few people that I obviously look up to. To be fair, I've always kind of looked up to like the likes of Abby Eaton and Jess Hawkins and all them, obviously, because coming through the motorsport years, they're obviously email side of things. And Sarah Moore and all them. But yeah, no, as obviously you have the BTCC and stuff like that, but there's not really one particular driver I'd look up to or I'd like. I like them all really. obviously I have my favorites, but I'm not going to mention because I get slated here.
So I'm getting abused for being a Robo fan. Creasy, you know you're running over afraid, but mate, now calm down. He does this to me all the time. Every time I mention him, or every time he probably hears me mention, he's probably thinking, "Oh, he's mentioning his boyfriend again." Yeah, all right, whatever. It's not my boyfriend. He's just a mate of mine.
Fanboying over this man.
I get enough off the other half saying like I'm his man crush or something, or he's my man crush. It's like, what the hell?
Yourself will be like thinking, is there something going on there?
No, well, Jen's always having a bit of a laugh and a joke with me, and she's the nearest and dearest, and she's the one why I do this for my free time. You see, so
yeah. And would you go? Do you have another guest coming on soon, or?
Yeah, I have leave from the Rally Launch hangout on Monday.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that.
What time is that at?
That is 8 o'clock on Monday.
I'll tune in.
It's good to have many people in motorsport. This is what I want. I want to get everyone out there, really.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want people to shy away and, you know, think, oh, how am I going to get known?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd rather people jump on.
Yeah, you know? I know exactly. Yeah, no, I think anyone like myself will appreciate that as well. You know.
Yeah, and I appreciate people giving up their time. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
you're doing a great job.
I like to hear stuff like that. You know, I like to hear that I do good because it's not easy. You know, I sit here for hours on end. Well, an hour and a half maybe.
I know, but you could sit and you might not get like anyone asking questions and stuff, but you'll still stay there to see if someone will come along, and you know.
Yeah.
I think everyone really respects that and appreciates that, and hopefully you'll go bigger and bigger and grow bigger and bigger and bigger and get, you know, bigger and bigger racing drivers from around the world here.
That's what I want. That's what I want ultimately.
I think with the dedication and stuff you put into it, I think you will reach that point. But yeah, don't give up. You're doing an awesome job.
I'm never giving up. I've got how many people?
Yeah, exactly.
How many people believe it and stuff like that? You know, I always say that it's difficult for me to try and talk to people, but people say to me, "How do you talk to a camera?" Easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Just get into the swing of it. And Michael Crease is off to watch Man United lose again.
Yeah. No, I think like this one now. To be honest with you, like I've been on many kind of lives, or you know, even when I go on TikTok, like I'm there something, and I'm like, because I have not like, if I have no engagement in the comments, I kind of just sit there. I'll like go on the sim or whatever like that. But any interview that I've been on online, I've always kind of like been so nervous going on beforehand and been like, oh my god, what am I gonna say? What am I? But like with your lives, it's just very chill and flow, like just normal conversations. So that's what.
It's all the down to earth is what it is. It's been down to earth and it's been yourself.
That's what you'll do well in, because you'll achieve a lot with that, you know, just being chill and just a normal going conversation, because that's what people want, you know, instead of being as I say, it's like I don't give the, you know, I don't need to, I don't lie and I don't bullshit about what I say about it, because there's a lot of things, you know, a lot of pressure talking about British touring cars and motorsport and my experiences of it all being a fan, you know, and I've always said to people, look, just put what you want in the comments, and at the end of the day, there is a lot of things that we can do, you know, and like Lisa wants to arrange a live video session, and yes, by all means, because this is what it is, you know, I'm quite happy to talk to whoever it is, what people want to do, you know, just be kind to each other, that's all I ask. And people come in here when I'm talking about the British touring cars or whatever, and the opinions people give, they don't get shot down, they don't get told, oh, I don't agree on this or agree on that. I just tell them, you know, at the end of the day, if I can't answer it, then it's not because I don't want to, it's because of how I feel at the time. Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's the right way to be as well. I've been on, like, I know TikTok sounds ridiculous, but I think that's where I get like a lot of my engagement and stuff, because I get like, when you're scrolling through TikTok, you'll see TikTok lives and you can just press on it. So I think that's where I got a lot of my engagements. Whereas with my Instagram and stuff like that, it's just kind of like people I know, so kind of be really awkward. So I just kind of go on TikTok Live to try and get random people, get more engagement on my page, and obviously more engagement on my page is more, sponsorship, in the bag or whatever. But it's like even on TikTok, you'd see a comment come through, and you're kind of like, how do I answer that?
Yeah.
It's kind of, it could be rude or it could be nasty, and you're kind of like, oh, I want to come off this now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like if people start commenting nasty things on here, then I'll just like be like, right, see you later. I don't do negativity.
Yeah, I know that's the same as me. I'll just come off it straight away, and then everyone like that knows me or like that's joined in, they're like, why did you end it? And I'm like, I just can't be arsed with it.
Yeah, it's not just about ending the live video. It's about, literally saying to people, look, at the end of the day, just be nice to everyone, because someone might take it the wrong way, or someone might go, oh, they're having a bit of a dig here about this, or they're having a bit of a, snide comment. I had one person say I was boring and repeating myself. Couldn't even get my words out there last year, and I was like, hang on a minute. You've been in my live videos so many times, and now you've had the guts to do that. Why haven't you just left straight away then? Because
I know, like over the years, like I've had social media. I've only kind of started getting big into it when I started championships in 2019. Not big, but I'd say now the last 2 years I've kind of gotten more into it with the reels and being a tiny bit more confident trying to speak on there. But again, like when I do the speaking videos, it takes me about 20 shots before I'm actually happy, because you'd be afraid of like what will go up, like what comment, like what shit, like and I think having that is always like gonna be, for anyone, is obviously always a bit daunting unless you've millions of followers and you just don't give a shit. But like even the amount of hassle I've had on media over the years, and I've not been involved in it that long, so I can only imagine what people that are at the top now have to go through to get to where they are now.
I'm not even at the
like, it's like, it would mess with your head mentally and be like, should I keep doing this? Whatever it is.
But that's the thing. I'm not at the top of this. I've been doing this for 5 years, but I've always said to myself, let everyone be kind, and if people want to be idiots, then that's not my problem. But they need to realise, I do this for my free will. I don't do it because it's my paid job.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I've even said to people that know me quite well, it takes guts, it takes determination. There's times where I've had to pull out of a live video because my anxiety's got to the better of me.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a tough old game to be in. And I think a lot of it, like I think anyone gets told this, is obviously anything that is said nasty or said negative on a page or a reel or a TikTok or a post, it always comes down to jealousy, and eventually you know who they are and they've followed your racing, and they're like kind of like, oh well, I don't like what he or she is doing. I've had that so many times. Like a lot of negativity and stuff I've had have been people that I've helped in the past, like either coached or helped in the past, where we've like helped them, give them data, or like when I was racing, we give them the gearing or the tire pressures, whatever, because like we couldn't, we wouldn't hide it, like we just get on with it. We're all out there racing. It's down to the driver at the end of the day. But I think a lot of it's people who that want to see you fail because they, it's jealousy.
They want to get a kick out of you faltering. I've always said to people, I've said to people, if they come on here and they want to start being negative, I will deal with it. And eventually I will start naming chairman and people. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're doing. You bring my page down, you're gonna stop me from doing what I want to do, because you're trying to get a kick. And I've always said to my community, you're all respectful, and that's why people like yourself are saying I'm doing a good job. It takes time. I remember with a couple of the comment I had when I got told I was boring and I was repeating what I was saying. I can't help that, because I've been talking about probably BTCC for the last couple of months, but that's because it's the passion. But when I got that comment, I lost sleep over it, because I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do?
But it would make you lose sleep over it, because you're kind of like, you're not worried, but you'd have it in the back of your mind playing with it, because you'd be like, well, is it true, or you know yourself in your own mind it's not true, but
Yeah.
you still think about it because it's something that's been said. I think like a couple of weeks ago, I put up a TikTok, and I said on a thing like, you know, oh, we're not there yet, but eventually we'll get there with the hard work and dedication. You know, my dream through or something like that. And there was a video of me getting in the car and coming down the straight, and this random account, I figured out who it was, but this random account commented being like, "Ha, making it?" Question mark, question mark, basically saying, yeah. And it did play on my mind, and I obviously got not upset, but kind of was like, really, like, you know. And then it would play in your mind, like, you know, that person that commented that knows who I am, and it's kind of like, you know, I've had that over the last 6 years I've been racing. You know, you'd always get that in one of them comments like, "You're not making it. Give up now." But it kind of, you get a bit of a kick out of it and enjoy it a bit more when you're proving them wrong, you know?
Well, that's exactly what I did the day after. I went straight away back onto a live video the night after. I thought, you know what, I'm proving the point here. You don't like what I've done. Off your pop, basically. I'm not giving up this because you've said I'm boring. Well, guess what? You're boring for telling me that I'm boring.
Yeah, but he's probably watched your videos as well.
Yeah. He's not watched them since because he's now banned from the page. So.
But yeah, you're definitely not boring if they're being watched.
Sometimes I must admit when I'm introducing the live video and people are just like tuning in when I'm talking to myself, I'm like, how many people are we going to get watching us? I wonder how many people are going to comment and stuff like that. And I have a bit of a talk to myself about it to start with. But it's normal. It's like when I go to work, I say things out loud and do a rehearsal out loud and do it when I'm at home, and yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have jealousy, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Until you do what they want you to do and stop.
Yeah.
We'll have a good year this year. Yeah. I probably should tell you my plans for this year. I haven't really announced. Well, to be fair, anyone that knows me will probably know what I'm doing anyway. But I haven't really announced it yet. It's not really. I'm kind of gone past the announcing stage, unless it's like, you know, this year is going to be a massive year for me. Like, as it is.
Yeah.
I'm working really hard at the moment in the gym and trying to get prepared with meetings and getting sponsors on board, and that's obviously the hardest part. But yeah, no, we basically have a new Jedi ordered, but it's obviously sponsors and stuff will help get that in the shed and stuff. But my race car is up for sale because we're upgrading. But it's yeah, we'll get there. We're going from Yamaha to Suzuki.
Okay.
So we're changing. So I tested the Suzuki before Christmas with the team, and tested one of their cars, and I just fell in love with it. Really liked it. It's a lot more forgiving. It's a lot smoother of a driving of a car compared to mine. I think that's where I've been struggling over the last 2 years of the championship with the Yamaha. It's not giving me the full potential as a driver. So now that I'm getting quicker, I'm asking for more, and my dad's probably going to kill me.
That's still half the problem, though. But you know, it seems very exciting this year.
Yeah.
You know, like your dad told me a couple of weeks ago that you're probably going to be racing at Croft, which is not far from me. So.
Wait, where are you living?
I'm in Lake District.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure. Get yourself down to Croft. We'll get you tickets in.
Yeah.
It's obviously not BTCC now, like, but
it's fine. I'm quite happy to jump across, you know, and if I can make it, you know.
My first round, that's on the 13th and 14th of April.
Right, yeah.
So get that in your diary.
try to get in my diary and try and figure out a way I can get over.
Yeah, no, definitely you'll have to come down. It's the grids are looking quite good for this year. It's a lot of lads have kind of moved on now and kind of like they've either stopped racing and they've retired, or there's actually a few new lads coming into it as well. So should be an interesting year with the mix of grids. I think that a lot of the lads that were on the grid last year and myself are after improving, and they have a lot more seat time done now over the coming months as well. So hopefully we'll get there soon as well.
Yeah, like I say, I'll try and jump across if I can.
Yeah, I do.
It makes it very difficult because I don't have a car, you see. But I've passed my
Your
test.
partner might fall in love a bit more when she sees the pink car.
Yeah, she might do. Yeah, I might have to tell her that. I'll have to tell her there's a pink car racing somewhere sometime.
Where
I'll have to-
Lisa, where does Lisa and Lee live? Do they live around your area as well?
I think they're in Cardiff. I think they're in South Wales. I think.
Okay. Well, Lisa and Olaf, you're all more than welcome to come to Croft as well. I don't think there's a track near Wales that's on the calendar for us either.
I'll have to have a look at the calendar.
Because I've Donington, Brands Hatch, Cadwell, Silverstone, Snetterton, which is, oh my god, Snetterton's just a friggin' nightmare. And
I've been to Snetterton for BTCC, so I know exactly how it is.
yeah.
It's not a nightmare getting the train, but it's a long way if you think about it.
Yeah, I know my dad's family are from, like, that's where my dad grew up in Croft with the rally station, my uncle and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm sure we could get someone to pick you up. You got a train.
That's all right. I'll make a note of it and try and get time off work and.
Do definitely 100%.
Good.
Cardiff. Where's Cardiff? I wouldn't be a clue.
South Wales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever track you're closest to, you're more than welcome to come down. We'll get you in.
I try to think how long we've been talking. Just over an hour now.
Yeah, I told you the Irish like to ramble on.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I'll have to obviously wrap up soon because I've obviously got in from work about just over probably an hour and a half ago, but I need to catch up.
Do you work Monday to Friday or do you work Monday to Sunday then?
I work normally Monday to Friday, but I do the odd weekend. Yeah. So
fair enough. Yeah. Good.
That's why, unfortunately, I work evenings, which is a pain in the backside sometimes.
I know. Do you work like lunchtime to evening or morning to evening or?
It's normally like 3 hours an evening, so it's like 5 till 8. So
okay. Yeah.
That's not too bad. But when it's a Friday, it's 2.5 hours, so I finish at 7:30.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But at least you're getting out of the house anyway.
Yeah, getting out the house and but I need to go and see what she's on with because she'll be like, "What are you doing?" She knew I was going on here tonight, but it's going to try and.
Should have got her on. She might have fell in love with motorsport scene.
Next time you're on, I'll get her to appear.
Yeah, because
I keep saying to
George, one of the lads, George. There, he's probably one of my biggest supporters over the last year or so. He's from Ireland. He follows across Ireland grid. That's where I met him. He'd be into rallying now more than anything, but I think I've gotten him interested in the single seaters over the last year. But he just said there you'd love Ireland. Yeah, that would be a trek, but you definitely should come ship sails and come see Ireland as well.
Yeah. Well, I am tempted to be going. Well, I'm meant to be looking at going to Dublin for a holiday this year, so you never know. I might be making a trip across to the Emerald Isle.
Okay. What part are you coming?
Dublin. I don't know when.
No, not Dublin. Not Dublin.
There's only one reason for me. Plenty of pints of Guinness for the whole weekend.
Temple Bar.
Well, if I'm over there, that's where I'll probably end up being half the time. No,
Lee's from Ireland as well. Is it Dublin or Mondello or somewhere around there? I think as well. Yeah, you'll have to come to South to Cork. It's a pretty place, so there's nothing to do down here. So that's why
I'm quite happy. It's not just down to me. It's also so the other half wants to go. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my dad just said there we'll have to get you out in the Mini in Mondello.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That'd be a laugh.
Yeah, that'd be good. Get the live video going on Facebook with.
I think we'd have to make sure it's strapped to my hand is the phone, and not showing my forehead, according to Michael Cruz.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I love the mini's good. I like being a bit wild in that because it's obviously a bit slower than the Jedi, so I just kind of push it more than I should be pushing
Yeah.
it.
It's like a couple of years ago, obviously, during COVID, obviously with restrictions, we managed to get myself in a Palmer Jaguar around Alton Park. So I was quite happy with that. And it was like, what an experience sitting in a passenger seat going around a racetrack.
Yeah. No, you definitely 100%. If you ever come over this way, let me know and we'll try and organise
Yeah,
something
of
to take.
course, yeah.
Or if we're
Definitely.
going over cross seas with it, but I doubt we'll have it over there anytime soon.
Aye.
Yeah, I had my mom out in the mini and she won't go back with me,
Oh,
unfortunately.
really?
Yeah, I know I had her out in it, and I'll actually have to. I'll send you the video. It's on my page, but that's just you put your plugs in. It's bad.
I suppose I'll have to wrap up very soon.
Yeah,
But,
perfect.
it's been great to catch up. Well, actually, have a
Yeah,
chat and,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, anytime you want a guest or anything, don't be afraid
yeah.
to give me a message. I'll
Oh,
happily.
I'd never be afraid to have returning guests on.
Yeah.
What I will do is because I do this to all my guests, well, most of them, I've got some stickers.
Yeah.
So if I get in touch, I'll post one over to Ireland and
Yeah, 100%. If you want to post to Ireland or if you want to post it to the Jedi Factory, you're more than welcome to that as
yeah.
well. Put some on the car for this year, get it flying around and hopefully in front of the grid.
Well, we'll sort some out. I'll because I've got quite a few left, and I
Yeah,
just need to.
send them over. I'll happily put them on the car.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect. It was nice
Right.
chatting anyway.
Yeah,
Have a nice evening.
I will do. And thank you for your time.
See you soon. Bye,
See you
guys.
later. There we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the chat with Kayls. I actually really enjoyed that. I tell you what, it's peaked really massively tonight. I'm going to have to really dash up very soon because, like I say, I've been at work and I need to catch up with Jem. But yes, Kayls, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it as well. I will see you guys on Monday when Lee from the Valley Lunch Hangout is joining us. Yes, that is right. The 2nd of Manic February, as I'm going to call it, for the guest. I hope you really enjoyed. If you have not already, please do like the page and please do like the live video because it helps us out massively. I will see you guys on Monday at 8 p.m. for another chat and another guest. And yes, I've got some things to obviously do over the weekend because we've got probably going to try and fit another guest in a couple of weeks' time as well because we've got, of course, Rick Carey joining us on Tuesday. But yes, I've enjoyed tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in, boys and girls. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to sign off for tonight, but I will see you guys on Monday. Take it easy. Have a fabulous weekend. I will be advertising our next guest over the weekend. Take it easy. Have fun. Take care of everyone. Speak to you on Monday. Ta-ra.